guys, it's Christine, also known as IvyWinter. Thank you for joining me for another Disney video. Today's video might be a little controversial because it's very subjective, and so you might not agree with everything on my list, but I was really thinking the other day about the things that I don't really do anymore at Disney World or have decided that I'm never going to do again. Disney World is a vast place and there's a lot to do, and not everything is going to appeal to everybody, right? There are just things at the parks that I've probably experienced at least once or twice, maybe multiple times, but have decided is not really my thing anymore. So this is my 10 things I'll probably never do at Disney World again. I want to caveat probably because, you know, never say never. Number 1 is Primeval Whirl. So I know it's currently closed right now for some refurbishment. People were like freaking out because it was pulled completely off the map, it looked like. And honestly, I would not mind if this ride disappeared. The last time I rode it was a couple of years ago. The last time I rode it was this past January with Rob and Kat, and we decided to just go for it and see what the experience was like again after many, many years. And let me tell you, the older you get, the more painful that ride gets. I'm pretty sure I needed a chiropractor after getting off of it. It just was so jerky and uncomfortable and not fun. I've done, you know, wild mouse coasters before with those hairpin turns. I enjoy them, but not that one specifically. It is not very smooth. I don't really like it. I don't think the theming's that great or just the whole story of the ride. As you guys know, I'm not a big fan of Dinoland USA save for dinosaurs. So pass. I don't think I'll ever do that ride again. And honestly, if it disappeared, I'd be okay with it. Number 2 is Kali River Rapids. I mentioned this a little bit on my do's and don'ts in Animal Kingdom. I don't think that it is a great flume ride, water ride, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's technically a rapid ride, but if I'm gonna do a water ride, I'd rather go to Splash Mountain or I'd rather go to Universal. They have some really good water rides. Kali River Rapids has a fantastic queue, and I think it's worth checking out the queue, but then you get on the ride and there really isn't much theming. There's supposed to be a story. I kind of get the story about like deforestation and all of that. It's supposed to be kind of like, hey, protect our environment, but it's like kind of weird, a little depressing, and you don't really get what's going on, so you're just kind of going through this river rapid ride without much theming, without much anything really. And I just think it's a very forgettable attraction when it comes to Disney World. I don't think a lot of people talk about it or care for it much. And when you think about all the other time spent into amazing attractions and shows and all of that, it just doesn't really pique my interest. So I tried it again last year, and it had been a number of years, but I just don't think I'm ever gonna do it again. Number 3 is taking the main ferry to Magic Kingdom from the Transportation and Ticket Center, or vice versa. It's insane. There's just so many people who pack onto that ferry. If you try to get on it either early in the morning going to the park or when fireworks are over and you're leaving, you're not gonna get on that ferry for like several round trips. It is just so busy. I had this one experience a long time ago where I got on with my family and my brother turns to me and goes, "The walls are moving," and it was literally ceiling to floor mosquitoes. It was terrifying. Everybody huddled together in the middle of the ferry. Now granted, this was like middle of summer, and I get it, it's Florida, it's hot, it's swampy, but oh my gosh, that was terrifying. And I just don't think that it's worth taking that ride. I think it's just like really busy and not as great. What I would rather do is walk from the TTC to the Polynesian and take their boat, or take the boat from the Grand Floridian. So you have other options. They're smaller, they're a little bit more comfortable, they're less crowded. You still get that lovely boat ride, but I just think the ferry is like too much for me, and I don't really see myself ever doing the big main ferry ever again. Number 4 is Story Time with Belle. Now, this is under a probably never again, because I think when I have kids, I'll probably go again because it is really neat. There is a great little trick in the beginning of the show that was really impressive. And the first time I saw it, one of my dear friends who's a cast member, she's now in Animal Kingdom, but she opened New Fantasyland and worked that attraction for a bit, and so it was like, you have to come and see it. And that was really great. And I think, you know, kudos to all the cast members and everyone who works that show, but it's just not for me. I think like when I have kids, it'll make sense for me to go back, but I've done it literally once just to do it, and I've never gone there again. It's definitely an attraction that appeals more, I think, to younger children. And Belle is my favorite princess. She has been for a very long time. When I was a kid, I wanted to be Belle. So there's nothing against Beauty and the Beast or anything like that. I actually love it, but I just don't really see myself needing to re-experience this. But I will Number 5 is eating at Be Our Guest. So in the same section of Storytime with Belle, you guys know I just did a review not long ago of eating at Be Our Guest on my last trip. I gave it a chance solo, and again, I think it was just all right. You know, there were definitely things that I liked. The sandwich was actually surprisingly better than I thought it was gonna be, but I didn't like their desserts. Their Bellini was great, but also how hard is it to make a Bellini? I just think it's okay and too expensive for what it is. I think the atmosphere is amazing. I love the restaurant itself. I just wish it gave a little bit more in the food department, and I don't really see myself eating there again. If I'm gonna choose a sit-down restaurant in Magic Kingdom, I would rather go to Liberty Tree Tavern or Skipper's Canteen. So I just don't see myself going there pretty much ever again. The number 6 thing I'll probably never do again is buy too many souvenirs. I think this is something that I did for many, many trips until I realized that it didn't really make a lot of sense, and I don't have a lot of space for everything. You know, this bookshelf is fast filling up with things, and I don't necessarily want my Disney stuff everywhere. And, you know, I was even going through some of my stuff and got rid of a couple of things because it's just too much, and how much is really means something to me and how much is really worth the money that I'm spending. Now, I think this comes definitely from a place of privilege. I know that I get to go to Disney quite a bit, and not everyone does. So by all means, if it's a first time visit or your first time in a long time, go crazy, buy all the things. But because I do get to go down to sometimes 3 times a year, hopefully soon will be more with my best friend Rob living there, there's just no need for me to be packing my suitcase full of stuff. So I try to be really mindful about what I buy. I really like the Venetian masks from Italy, you guys know that, and they kind of decorate my house now, and it's something that my husband Peter likes too, so it's something we can kind of share in, is not overtly Disney. So I like to get those. I do like to get artwork here and there. I have some Haunted Mansion artwork here that's really, really cool. And then I like to get small things. We get magnets every time we go for like every resort that I've stayed at, or if there's like a cool event, like I just got a flower and garden one from this past year. And, you know, small things like the little trash can salt and pepper shakers, little pieces of art that can easily be put on a shelf. I say my magic bands, those are free. Well, not the Donald's one, but totally worth it. So I think it's just being mindful about what I'm buying. So I just know that I'm never going to come back with a suitcase stuffed full of stuff ever again. Number 7, I will probably never wait more than 40 minutes solo for a ride or an hour with friends. The reason I give friends an hour is because I'm with friends. You get to talk and pass time and play heads up, and there's a little bit more in passing time waiting for a ride than when you're by yourself. Though I do try to like read a book or, you know, just do general things on my own when I'm in line. I think because, again, a little bit of a place of privilege, because I do get to go a lot, and I just know which rides are worth the waits for me and which aren't. And I really try to optimize my time so that I'm not spending more than usually 40 minutes or so waiting for anything, and sometimes even less depending on the ride. Like, I'm not gonna wait 40 minutes for Winnie the Pooh, but if I see that it's 15 or 20 minutes, I'll definitely hop on the line. So I prioritize based on what I think is worth the wait. Now, would I wait maybe longer than an hour for Flight of Passage? Sure, because I think that ride is absolutely amazing and worth it. But would I wait 3 hours? Probably not. And Galaxy's Edge? Yeah, you might catch me the first time I'm trying to ride these rides waiting on a really long line because they're new and novel, and I'm a big Star Wars fan. But mostly, I just don't ever want to spend that much time waiting in line ever again. I would rather just explore a park and people watch and take in the atmosphere with my time, you know, watch the Dapper Dans or the Japanese drum performers in Epcot rather than spending that time waiting in line. Number 8 thing I will absolutely never, ever, ever do ever again is try to leave the Magic Kingdom right after the fireworks are done. It is just, for lack of a better word, a you-know-what show every time you are trying to get out of this park after fireworks. If there is time after the fireworks, like if the park is still open, which sometimes in the summer is the case, then I'm just gonna go run on another ride and just enjoy that and let a lot of other people leave. If the park technically closes right when the fireworks are done, they don't really kick you out immediately. They're like, okay, get out now. You can kind of mosey down Main Street, check out the stores, just let the crowds go, because I could leave with the crowds and then be waiting for 5-6 buses until I get back to my resort, or trying to fight others for an Uber or whatever it might be. It's just not worth it. It's absolute insanity. You do this like slow shuffle out and it's just all these people. And look, grew up in New York City, used to a lot of people, doesn't normally give me anxiety, but that gives me anxiety. Everyone funneling out down Main Street is a bit anxiety inducing. So never, ever, ever again will I ever try to leave right after Happily Ever After or whatever future fireworks there may be. It's a nightmare, no thank you. Number 9 is I will never, ever, ever drink water from a water fountain in the parks ever again. But this might sound kind of frou-frou, but I am sorry. First of all, Florida water's gross. I apologize to any native Floridians. We have great tap water up here in the Northeast. New York's is awesome. New Jersey's has been great too. Florida tap water's weird. And I don't really like it. And then in the parks is even worse because depending on where you are, sometimes the water tastes like ride water. So if you guys have seen the big video that Rob did a while ago about them treating their water with bromine, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, in like rides like Pirates and stuff like that, but it tastes disgusting. I was actually there in the Magic Kingdom with a friend of mine, Mike, and I was like, I'm gonna save some money. I'm gonna refill my water bottle in this water fountain. And I filled it up, not even the bathroom by Pirates, it was the bathroom that's in that like long pathway that goes from Adventureland to Liberty Square, actually, I think. And there's like a water fountain right next to like the Sunglass Hut or something over there. And I took one sip and I was like, oh, this tastes like Pirates water. And then I took 2 more sips and was like, nope, I'm done. I dumped the entire thing out and bought a bottle of water. You can also go to like a quick service and get them to fill up some ice water, and it's not as bad. I know bottled water is such a waste of money, but on the flip side, what we try to do is get cases of bottled water outside of the park, outside of property that's cheaper, and then keep that in the hotel. I'm sorry, that water tastes like ass, and I just can't do it ever again. And my last thing that I will definitely never do again is step foot in the Swiss Family Treehouse. I don't see the point of it. I was not a big fan of the movie or anything that has to do with that. I don't really see the point of this attraction. It's a walk-through attraction. It's great that it's there. I forget that it's there. It's kind of like Cali River Rapids. I forget that it even exists. And then when I walk through it, I'm like, okay, that was fine, I guess. That was a waste of 5 minutes of my time. Personally, if I'm gonna go to an attraction that's just walking around, I mean, other than walking through all the parks, I'd rather just take the little raft over to Tom Sawyer Island, which is so much cooler and so much more to like do and see, and I think is way, way better. I don't know, Swiss Family Treehouse, I am sorry. You could be demolished and I probably wouldn't even notice. I would not even notice that it was gone. Oh, I know that's terrible, but it's true, so I will absolutely never walk through there again, not even with kids. Sorry kids, you see that big treehouse? Nothing to see there, nothing even in there, nothing interesting, I promise you. Let's just move right on to Pirates. We don't have to stop there. Get a Dole Whip, go to Pirates. That's your Adventureland experience. Anyway, those are my 10 things that I will probably never do again. Some of them are definitely never do again. I would love to know in the comments below, what are the things that you've done in Disney World that you'll never do again? Or are there things you've never done that you just never will? Let me know in the comments below. It's always so interesting to see people's different opinions on what is worth the time or not worth the time to do. If you like this video, then like it. If you like me, you should subscribe. I make videos every single week. Did I say subscribe right? I've been tripping over my words this entire week. I'm pretty sure the paint fumes and all of the work that we've been doing in this house is just getting me. But if you like me, you should subscribe. That is what I'm trying to say here. If you want to hear me stumble through speaking English, then you should subscribe. That's not appealing at all. I don't know why you would want to do that. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great rest of the day. Bye.